when I was working after passing out from Delhi College of Engineering in a corporate setup, I was really not sure whether the desk job is meant for me. I had 15 lakhs loan at that point of time, and taking that decision at that point of time, letting go of my job offer, I was really not sure where my money for the next installment is going to come from. It doesn't really help to see your parents getting old in rented apartments or when you drive a third-hand car, third-hand small car, right? So I think all these things are really, really challenging. But there's a factor, and I'm really proud to say that Zostel, the biggest chain of backpacker hostels in Asia, would always be remembered for bringing backpacking revolution within this country. I still remember it was 2010. I was on my first trekking trip. So the company I was working for, I was a fresh engineering graduate from Delhi College of Engineering. And that was my first trekking trip. And I was really excited. I was sitting all sweaty with my backpack and wondering how awesome could it be if I could make my livelihood through being in the surroundings, being in the mountains, through being in that moment. Fast forward to 2018. Now we run something called Zostel, which is a chain of backpackers hostel. We have presence in 32 locations in India and Nepal, essentially everywhere that you can think of, starting from Leh to Ooty or from Pokhara to Jaisalmer. We have presence everywhere. So I'm just here to tell you a bit about my journey. So as I said, when I was working after passing out from Delhi College of Engineering in a corporate setup, I was really not sure whether the desk job is meant for me. I was always looking out for options. Basically, how can I make my career into an alternate field, and travel seemed like a very good option for me. So that is what started the itch in me to do something different. I did not want to be in that setup forever. And accidentally or incidentally, I would say, whenever I used to go out, I used to go out with my friends, and whenever we went out, stay was never a part of the experience. Whenever I went out, we always used to stay at some random guest house, some hotel. And it was more about just going out, enjoying the scenery outside and coming back to a location which had nothing to offer. So I had no idea how to basically take care of that part or how to probably try and change that aspect of it. But that thought was there on the back of my head. Now after that, after a couple of years of working in the corporate, I went to IIM Calcutta in 2012. But along with me, I carried on this itch that I want to do something. I really love to be in travel space. And I always saw this gap, that stay. There was something which was lacking in the stay part of it. In IIM Calcutta, again, I made sure, since I had worked for 3 years in corporate, I knew that I was not just going to go there and slog. I came from a background where I had a flavor of different domains where I wanted to be in. So I made sure that I'm going to get more out of IIM Calcutta than just sort of slogging there and aiming for the best paying job. So I think that helped me out a lot. I was very open to meeting people. I met various different kinds of people, talked to professors, participated in a lot of extracurriculars. So I think that gave me good exposure. I met 3 of my co-founders in IIM Calcutta. And they were crazy but brilliant guys. They also had this itch that they wanted to do something of their own. And entrepreneurship was definitely an idea on our minds. So when we went out on our exchange program in IIM Calcutta, I think I got an answer to the thought that I had in my mind, how we can probably get more out of this stay. So we stayed in backpacker hostels. Some of the co-founders stayed in backpackers hostels in Europe and other parts of the world. And we realized that social setting is what was missing in Indian ecosystem of traveling and staying. So that's when the idea of starting a backpacker hostel within India germinated. I think at that point of time, there was only one backpacker hostel in India in Goa. And we essentially launched the first hostel in India on Indian mainland in Jodhpur in 2013 August, while we were still in the first year of our college. Thank you. So yes, as I said, we collected some money from our friends and families. We wanted to do a pilot, and we wanted to make sure whether this idea strikes a chord within India or not. And that's how Jodhpur was launched in August 2013, followed by another one in Jaipur, another very small property, just 4 rooms within that property. And the main idea was to basically take a dipstick into the market and to see how people react, right? So Within a couple of months, we were ranked one on TripAdvisor, on Hostel World, on various review websites, and we got a phenomenal response. That was an eye-opener for us. So now we had a pilot, successful pilot. We were still in college. Now the question was whether we take the plunge or whether we go for our cushy jobs that obviously IIM Calcutta guaranteed us. And that was the major decision point in my life. Again, my background was something very different from my other co-founders' background, so that was an individual question that I needed to ask from myself. I come from a middle class family, a service class family. My dad is a teacher, he's retired now. My mother is a homemaker. So I think I also took education loan. My entire education was on loan. I had 15 lakhs loan at that point of time. And taking that decision, at that point of time, letting go of my job offer, I was really not sure where my money for the next installment is going to come from. So obviously from anyone from my background, it's expected that I have EMIs to pay to give a decent life to my family. So that was a question that kept me awake for a number of nights. And it really helped me that we had already done the pilot of Zostel. So the conviction was always there that this idea can work. So I think that is what really helped me in giving me that final nudge from the cliff that yes, I can jump and I'll be able to make a parachute while on my way down. So I think that was a really difficult challenge in my life there. Comes with the placement season, the day on which I was supposed to appear for placements, I decided to opt out of the placements. I got a day zero offer despite that because of my performance in the internship. I turned it down and there was no looking back after that. Now comes the reality check. We are out of IIM Calcutta. We are there in the market. We are running two very small hostels and basically we are the one-man army. We are the one taking care of housekeeping. We are the one taking care of the front desk. So everything has to be done by us. So I think that's where it struck that obviously in a startup setting, you have to be ready to get your hands dirty. You don't have money to hire resources. There's nobody going to be there to help you out. It's you who have to take care of everything, taking business decisions, taking strategic decisions, how to do the marketing, how to reach your customers, while on the same side, you are the courier boy, you are the housekeeping guy, you are the front desk guy. So I think that was an eye-opener for us. And anyone who wants to be an entrepreneur needs to be open to this sort of a challenge coming into his life later on. So once the reality struck us, I think the learning to learn part, that sticks with an entrepreneur throughout his or her life. Initial stages, you might be taking care of something else. Even today in Zostel, if there is a legal issue that comes on in front of me, or there's a taxation issue that comes in front of me, I'm the one who's taking care of that. I might not have any idea about a particular domain. I read it through the night, I become an expert, right? At least I get a knowledge so that I understand that matter at hand and I try to sort it out. So basically, if you ever want to be an entrepreneur, you really need to have this attitude of being open to learning new things. It can be anything, right? So I think that is one very important learning. But above all, the thing that has motivated me to start Zostel and even till this date, 5 years, I've already been running this venture. All my friends are at a very different stage in life. So you see, it doesn't help when you see a lot of your batchmates, your classmates cruising in cars, getting swanky homes, while you are still struggling to sort of make your ends meet. It doesn't really help to see your parents getting old in rented apartments or when you drive a third-hand small car, right? So I think all these things are really, really challenging. But there's a factor, or especially for me personally, what I believe the most important factor which has kept me going is the need for significance. I had already worked in corporate for 3 years. I learned there a lot. There's definitely no issue there. But that thing was not going to satisfy my need for significance. In Zostel, the biggest satisfaction that I get out of working or being a part of Zostel fraternity is that I have been able to make a dent in the ecosystem. So before I started, as I said, there was no option for anyone. There was no fun and safe stay option for anyone to stay in India. Either you have very dingy guest houses and lodges, or you really need to spend a lot of money to stay in those swanky 5-star hotels, which a lot of people cannot afford. So for people like me, millennials, 20 to 30 years age group people, there are no safe, affordable options, which we started off. We got the ball rolling. And after that, right now, there is more than 500 hostels operating within India. So I think my family, so to say, whatever decisions I took, and leading a very frugal lifestyle, a self-imposed exile, so to say, self-imposed struggle on myself. I think those things have fallen in place now when I look back after 5 years. And we have been able to create a permanent dent in this ecosystem. And I'm really proud to say that Zostel, the biggest chain of backpacker hostels in Asia, would always be remembered for bringing backpacking revolution within this country. Thanks a lot.
Tell us what you think about this video and don't forget to like, share and subscribe.